Now, Jeff Traylor, this from Kirk Bowles of the Austin American-Statesman, interviewed with A&M. It all depends on who you listen to or who you also watch, that there might have been others who were interviewed. But Jeff Traylor, who's at UTSA, interviewed by A&M. If they had not reached out to him, I'll say this, if Dave Aranda remains at Baylor, good for him. And if they feel like that's the right decision, that's great. But if they were to open up and they didn't contact Jeff Traylor, they would be foolish not to do so. Also, UTSA is playing tonight against USF. It will be the last home game for Frank Harris, their sixth-year senior quarterback, who, of course, has had a great career with the Roadrunners. There's also that Pac-12 game, but UTSA on display tonight on ESPN2.
Yeah, that's the game, Pac-12, but that Brando's doing, by the way. Talked about it the other day when he was on the show. I think Jeff Traylor, and A&M fans may feel different all over the map, but I think he's the dude you got to go and get if you're A&M. Like they've done so much with splashy, let's go get this and that, and you've got someone who can go in and recruit East Texas really well, essentially own it. He can kind of have that part of the state. He can probably put a nice little fence around Houston for A&M as well, which is one of the. We've talked about this all the time. If you told recruiters, like, give me 5 cities you want to go to, Houston's in every single one of them, that they'd want to go to. So not to mention what national capabilities he'll have recruiting at Texas A&M that he necessarily wouldn't at UTSA. He's a really brilliant coach. He's adaptable. He's, always looking at the angles of modern college football, and giving him those resources there would be a good thing. I don't know if anybody ever can win the national championship at Texas A&M, but anybody in the world, anybody in this room could be head coach and go 8-4. I think Jeff Traylor could improve on that, because seemingly everybody who goes there is 8-4.
I would think, Craig, if you asked Jeff Traylor this question about, hey, what is going on? What you can say? I bet he would probably say, we need to go win one for Frank Harris tonight inside the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, he's not going to say anything about A&M. I mean, that would be completely out of character, and it wouldn't really be appropriate. And I don't think if anybody had their way, this would really be out there. Maybe there's some part of the A&M mind or Jeff Traylor's agent that wants that out there, I suppose. But, he's going to be focused on UTSA. That's the one thing that we can say for sure. And at the same time, I mean, we know that UTSA has a certain ceiling, and he's been there longer than probably a lot of people would have been if they had potentially some of the opportunities he may have had over these past few years. But he's built it up. He's turned it into a strong program. He's had some, guys that have gone on to the NFL. He's had some guys who've had great careers, and they've won a lot of games, and they've been in a lot of big games, and played tough with a lot of big teams. So he's checked a lot of boxes in his time in San Antonio. I think just the kind of old school East Texas, just football coach kind of personality that he has would fit very well with Texas A&M. He would be somewhat of a splashy hire, not nationally, but I think that enough people in this region would definitely feel like that was a splashy hire, and not to mention, like, in Arkansas they would, because they know him from his time there at Arkansas, and he's been around the block. He's been around the SEC. He's been around the Big 12. He knows the area. He knows the football around here, and he can coach. So my first thought was, would he be able to – I don't know the relationship because it just ended last year, but would he go and get Will Stein back from Oregon because – he just left UTSA to go to Oregon, and if you want to make a big splash, we'll go get the guy who's leading the Oregon offense right now, bring him back. You've already worked together, and boom, there you go with Texas A&M on offense. But that's just a thought that crossed my mind. I don't know, like, what the Will Stein line of thinking is, but that would be an immediate, like, ooh, that would be fun. But yeah, that would be a great hire. I feel like they're going to probably wrap this up pretty quickly because of the recruiting season, and so interesting that he's out there. But let's find out, I guess, who these others are. But if they were to announce him tomorrow, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, that's a smart decision by Texas A&M.
If you're an Aggies fan or a Houston fan, if that ever pops, or a Baylor fan, most everybody knows the Jeff Traylor story from coaching at Big Sandy, then assistant coach at Jacksonville, then taking over Gilmer, his alma mater, and turning them into a state power. He was at Texas under Charlie Strong. He was at SMU, Arkansas, and now, of course, recently has been the head coach for UTSA. Here's somebody that is not